Good evening, folks. Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, corrupt media sources.
Freddy wins. Freddy wins.
Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, let's talk about corrupt media outlets. Gotta fix my chair here. Good evening, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I wanted to talk about corrupt media sources. Oftentimes, I've been when I've been speaking about political corruption or corruption, has been political corruption, right? And specifically with the elected officials who work for the city of Yonkers. But I don't often mention the corrupt media outlets, right? They're corrupt too. And they're a part of this whole corrupt system that exists here in the city of Yonkers. And so I want to discuss this because it's important, as it does impact our elections, because it impacts people's perception. People have a false perception, and therefore they act on that false perception, and it leads to the wrong decision. And at this point, we have been making the wrong decisions, but it's not completely our fault. We have been misled. We have been misled by these corrupt media outlets that are paid by elected officials to do just that, mislead us. And that is one part of the way they remain in power. And the media, news, the journalists, that's the fifth estate, is it not? I'm getting that right? Right? It's one of the pillars or something like that. It's very important to our overall society. They know just how influential people are, and especially through internet, social media. And so they've utilized these news outlets that have these sites online and social media where nowadays most people can be found in order to create narratives of their choosing, a narrative that will best see to it that they succeed in remaining in power, winning elections, having people think highly of them, when in fact, some of them are very cruel, evil, greedy, and selfish individuals. But you wouldn't know that, right? Because what you see is what they put out on these corrupt media outlets. Outlets like the Yonkers Voice, the Yonkers Newswire, and I'm still trying to figure out the Yonkers Tribune. Fortunately for us who want truth, there are other outlets out there that are starting to come out. Basement Politics, obviously. And I turned down money in the very beginning because I didn't want to be like the rest of them. I didn't want to be another paid minion doing their bidding, creating lies, perpetuating lies about people, trying to ruin people, ruin their reputations, their livelihoods, all for a few $100, maybe $1,000 or two. Whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. But the damage that they create cannot be measured monetarily many times. And yet no one stopped them. And why not? Because they are utilized by the very people who are supposed to stop them. And so they continue to harass, to torment, to attack, to bully, to lie, and cause a disturbance here in our community and disrupt our elections and create a false perception for us. But more and more, we're starting to see the reality of it, and people are waking up. So other people are starting to speak out. There are other outlets, news outlets, media outlets also, like the Yonkers Ledger. I encourage you to check out that page if you have not already, if you're looking for truth and honesty and a real analysis on politics and other news here in the city of Yonkers. And the reason why I want to talk about that today is because of the Ruth Walters racism thing. This is ridiculous. I mean, they did the same story in 2021. This is the repeat. They're recycling this story from 2021 in order to present Ruth Walter as a racist. Is Ruth Walter a racist? I'm not going to say yes or no because I don't know her. What I am going to say is that based on what I've seen, it seems like she's being set up. It seems like this is just more dirty politics. It doesn't make sense to me. And as I watched the Yonkers Voice video, yeah, just made it more clear for me. This is obviously political. And we've seen this before. We've seen them come at people, create lies, have other people pop up on a video to say all these bad things about someone. And it just so happens to be the individual that is in opposition of the administration. And those that are tied to the administration, those in control. Isn't that something? What a coinky dink, right? So here we have Ruth Walter, who is obviously not liked by her own party here in the city of Yonkers. Zahi Jeris is a big influence on that party. Zahi Jeris does not like Ruth Walter. Zahi Jeris was able to get Ruth Walter out, utilizing this same story back in 2021. That is how James Nolan became the county legislator for District 15. What? You thought James did it all by himself? No. Zahi Jeris and company. That's right. They were the ones behind James Nolan's campaign. So what if he's a Republican and they control a big part of the Democratic Party? Doesn't matter. That's how politics works here in Yonkers. It's no real two-party system. It's only made to appear that way. Remember, it's the perception. It's what they want you to believe. And so Zahi Jeris is at it again. However, this wasn't their plan A. This is probably plan D. Initially, they wanted Mark Fang to run against Ruth Walter in the primary, but then he backed out. I say he backed out. Why? Well, because according to sources, James Nolan's mom, Donna Nolan, called up Mike Spano and was upset about it. She saw that as a true threat to James Nolan's position as the county legislator for District 15. Mark Fang is a legitimate candidate. Mark Fang was introduced by the very people that helped James Nolan win. And so it was obvious that they wanted Nolan and Ruth out this time, and they wanted Mark Fang in. But Mama Bear was not going to have that. Donna Nolan, she will get on it real quick. She is quite involved in a lot of things, and I'll get more on that later. She called Mike Spano. She's very strong. She's managed to get a lot here in the city. She's been taken care of. And so she got Mark Fang to drop out of the race, causing Ruth Walter to get the Yonkers Democratic endorsement by default. And so here she is, now the Democratic candidate and James, the Republican candidate. So what are they to do? Well, bring up the old racist story again. Let's recycle that. That'll work. You know, we got a lot of woke people out here that are ready to just jump on anything that has to do with racism. You know, those people that are never around black people, the ones that are never in the community actually helping disenfranchise Hispanic, blacks, and others. But they will go on the social media and be power to the people. Black Lives Matter. And so here they are utilizing this tactic, a Zahi Jeris tactic, against Ruth Walter. But it's the same story. It's the same guy. And it's interesting who this guy is. It's not just any old black guy. No, this is Reginald Lafayette's son, the late, great Reginald Lafayette, former Westchester County Democratic chairman, and according to his son, a powerful man. I don't think this was a smart move by whoever decided to have this guy go on Yonkers Voice, because it just made it more obvious that this is what it is. And I don't know Ruth. I'm not defending Ruth. I'm defending truth, not Ruth. That's what I'm here for. And I'm also here to make the point that these news media outlets are paid to create lies. They have no true evidence, but they'll present to you a story that is a lie, knowingly. And while the Yonkers Voice may do a great job covering car accidents, great job covering overdoses and shootings, he quite literally sucks at politics. But his goal is not to cover politics in an honest manner with integrity. No. He covers politics in the way he is told to. Like the time when he said, there's only about a handful of people here at the term limit extension meeting who are against it. The rest of the room is in support of it. That was a bold-faced lie. I was in that room that day. There were more than a handful of people who were against it. And the majority of the people here in the city of Yonkers oppose the term limit extension. But Ruros would rather have you believe different. And then you have Brian Harrod, his partner in crime. He's the one they use to throw the nasty mud. He slings all the dirty dirt that he can. This is a man who is truly mentally unstable, has health issues, lives in public housing, where he set up his office for his Yonkers Newswire and all his roundup pages in which he harasses, torments, lies, and writes the most disgusting thing about men, women, and children. He has no boundaries, no limits, no restriction. Why has he not been beat up yet? Well, because they protect him. That's right. You knock on his door to have a conversation, the police are calling you. You can't even ask the guy why he's choosing to pick on your kids who have nothing to do with any of what their dad has going on politically. But that's how low he goes. He is what we call scum. But the officials have no problems engaging him and his partner, Rue, who have a documented history of sex crimes. Yet and still, our elected officials and others choose to engage in business with them. He has been banned from the public schools as well as the Charter School of Excellence. Excellent. Thank you. Because of his sexual crimes. And here he is now utilizing the plight of black people in order to help a white candidate win. There's not one person of color in this race, and the race is for a district that is predominantly white. Yet and still, the biggest issue here that they seem to find to discuss is racism. And here we have this gentleman, Reginald Lafayette's son, popping out of nowhere once again. Listen to what he has to say. I mean, it's obvious he wants to make Ruth Walter look as bad as possible. And so, Ruth, I'm for truth, which is why I may seem to be defending you here. Just want to make that clear. So this is Reginald. Seems like maybe, I don't know, he found, Rue Rose found this guy some apartment building, which, by the way, I hear that he has recently gotten a job. I don't know if it's with the city, but he got help by the administration to get a job, this man here. And so let's hear what he has to say.
We are live on Yonkers Voice, and I wanted to talk to you for a while to know exactly what happened, at least your version of what happened with the current nominee for the Democratic Party
Let
for
me know if you can't
Westchester
hear.
County legislator. Tell us what happened that day.
It was over a series of days, over a series of weeks, maybe even dragged on for a few months. I was contacted I used to work campaigns in Westchester, involved in campaigns. You know me, and I always had a team of young people that I would go out with and hand out literature and do what do you call it? Canvassing and the like for campaigns. I was contacted to work on Ruth Walter's campaign. And so I got my kids together, my young people, I call them my kids, they were teenagers. And this was their summer job. And it was always an opportunity for me to help them get some money, for school clothes. Being a teenager is expensive. You gotta have the fly sneakers and all that.
So being a teenager is expensive. You got to have the flyest sneakers and all that. Yeah, I remember that. That was a New York mentality. That was a poor mentality. Because when I went to live among the rich folks, they could care less what sneakers they had on their feet. I looked like the clown, the one that wanted to look cool because of my cool clothes. Yet I had no idea what the hell I wanted to do with my life. Meanwhile, they had it all mapped out. I'm just saying that because we need better role models for our kids. He says he was contacted by Ruth Walters. First of all, his whole appearance, I mean, I can see why Ruth Walters would. And I don't want to stereotype, but we have to understand the setting, right? This is Bronxville. This is Ruth Walters, a frail woman. No, I don't mean that in a negative way. I'm just saying you're really like frail, you're small, right? Glasses and really. And here he comes in. He's got these fangs in his teeth, right? The gold fangs. Looks like an overweight Method Man. I don't know if you guys know who Method Man was, right? And he's asking for his money. Ruth, I've been in a situation like this, Ruth, so I can actually, sympathize with you. Yeah, someone came to my business too, wanting money. And I had no clue. That's what this guy did. He wanted his money for canvassing. Listen to what he was saying. He was contacted by her office because that's what he does. He's a canvasser, although he couldn't even get the word out right away. He goes out and gets signatures, gives out literature. We already know what that scam's all about, as I've been uncovering that recently here in the city of Yonkers. So he gathers these teenagers because they need a summer job, going out there and petitioning, handing out literature for candidates, one of them being Ruth Walters. And so when they were done, apparently he was not paid. So after trying to get paid by Ruth Walters, who she was not the person tasked with doing that, she told him that's the treasurer or whoever's managing the campaign finance, he decided to pay the teenagers himself because he says, I want them to have their money. I don't, they're kids. They want to get their clothes, right? And then he waited months before trying to get reimbursed again, or weeks. And then when he was attempting to get reimbursed, he felt like he was getting the runaround. Or as he says it, he was being set up. This is what he says. But we have to, these new guys are hired guns and they illegally sell advertising. These political ads should indicate that they are paid advertisements. These new guys are hired guns and illegally sell advertisement. And you're referring to the Yonkers Voice and pages like that and news wires and all that? News guys, yeah, right. They get paid, and I'll talk about that in a minute. And that's why he's doing this. That's why he went out and put this guy on this video. But there are a lot of different things to dissect here. One of them is the fact is that we're uncovering the way they hustle petitions. This guy goes around, gets his crew of people, and they go out and just bang on doors, probably misleading people, circulatory fraud, into signing these petitions, and then they expect payment. And I'm learning that the going rate is anywhere between $5 per signature to $20 per signature. Yes, $5 to $20 per signature. So if you need 1,000 signatures, that's $5,000 at minimum to $20,000 to hire people to get your signatures. What a racket this is, folks. Our election, our political system, our democracy is trash. It's time to really destroy it and rebuild it. That's really what we have to do here. But yeah, they don't advertise that they don't let it be known that they are, collecting these advertisements, or they're doing this as political advertisements, and that they're being paid. And according to certain individuals that I spoke to, and Ron Mann here saying, they have to make that, they have to let people know that they are being paid to do this, that they are being paid for these political ads. And Rue Roast does not let them, doesn't make mention of that, which is illegal, actually, right? It's illegal to do that, but also illegal to do this. Illegal to set up this video with this guy. And as you hear more of his story, you start to realize that maybe, he's the problem. News 12 or Snooze 12 is no better. It only reports on what story the city gives them. News 12, done. Journal News also. Low HUD, I'm going to tell you this. Low HUD, I'm just going to say it. Low HUD, I'm not going to say who though, was investigating the use, and it's interesting that this is going on right now. I'm saying this now. Low HUD was investigating the use of city employees and city resources in elections and in campaigning. So I was in contact with someone at Low HUD, and we were going back and forth, and then the person just disappeared. Like I never responded. We were supposed to meet up. I had this audio that I was going to play for them, because I got a lot of stuff, folks. Like all of it, I'm not going to play, man. I'm just waiting for the right person, FBI, to contact me. I've spoken to those guys too. I'll say it. I don't care. And a lot of people are writing letters to the feds. That's right. It's time. DOJ, hello, come back here. Right. So, I was going to meet with this person, give him the audio, and there's, again, I put out that audio also of that individual telling another person about how you go about getting a job with DPW, right? You have to work campaigns, you have to donate to campaigns, knock on doors, and many candidates saw city employees knocking on doors at the beginning of petition season on February 28th. The mayor got his signatures in less than 48 hours. A lot of people we hear took the day off, took a personal day on that day. So he had a lot of city employees taking personal days off, we hear, to go out and campaign and knock on doors. And I'm sure many of them represented themselves as city employees, which they're not supposed to do. They're not supposed to wear anything city. But they were. Seda Jarris, the wife of Zahi Jarris, we hear she was out there knocking on doors. And so this is what they do. They send a mob of people. This is why we cannot continue to have career politicians like Mike Spano, because how do you compete with that? Doesn't matter who you are. How do you compete with that? Regardless how good of a candidate you will be or you are, how do you compete with that? Right? You don't have the city employees at your disposal. Right? So how do you compete with that? You also don't have this guy creating lies, Yonkers Voice, at your disposal as well. And so I'm hearing that the James Nolan campaign is actually paying Rue Rose not to promote Ruth Walters. And I hear that it's double, and I'll go through the prices in a minute about what he charges candidates in order to promote them and not to promote their opponent, and also to create stuff like this. Remember, these guys put up a video of some guy that I never met in my life saying that I sold heroin. So this is what they do. This is just another version of that right here, right? He's creating this story that Ruth is a racist. And I just don't think that's okay, unless we see real evidence, everybody could say anything is racist, right? I mean, nowadays.
Anyway, so they go out and they working in the summer, they working in the heat, they doing the canvassing, and they're not getting paid. And every week it's a different excuse. It's a different excuse. And then her account person, her campaign finance person was ill, not well, sick, whatever.
Jahi, hold on 1 second, so people who are watching can follow.
So really quick, Rue Rose asks what are called leading questions, right? And leading questions are designed to, steer someone into a certain narrative. Police officers at times have done this. People and innocent people have gotten, sent to jail because of, they confessed to something they didn't really even mean to. but they were led into it. So Ruros does this, and just listen to the questioning he's asked, right? And then another point here, he mentions that Ruth told him that it was the finance, the campaign finance manager that was, supposed to pay him, which is true. Me, even myself, when I registered, one of the things they ask you is for your if you register for the committee, they ask you for a treasurer. So when I start to collect money, I'm going to have a committee, and my wife is going to be the treasurer. Now, she is the only person designated to deal with the money. I mean, I can designate someone else, but I'd rather it just be her. I don't want to be, involved with that. I don't want anyone saying anything to me about money mismanagement, right? So she's the only one. So in this situation, I would imagine it's the same thing. Ruth Walters wasn't the one in charge of the money and actually had control of the money and access to the money to pay this guy whenever he called her for payment. So again, Ron Manson, by the way, I hear that Ruth's campaign didn't hire him. He was hired by the Westchester Democratic Party. I don't know if that side of the story is true or not. Well, it could be. His dad, again, was the late Reginald Lafayette, the former chairman of the Democratic Party in the Westchester County Democratic Party. So I can see his dad saying, hey, Ja, get your team of kids, like you say, and get them out there on the street, and let's go get these signatures. Right? And they use this. This is like a business. This is a business. Imagine if I built up a team of people that are good at going out there and get signatures, people will hire me. And so you say no one is paying $5 a signature. That's because you're not running with the big boys. I'm talking about big, real deal campaigns. They will pay this because there are companies out there that do this. This is what they do. Legitimate companies that will get your signatures on your petitions. And if you want the best of the best, they're going to charge $15, $20 a signature. There are lawyers that will draw up your petition for you to assure that you will not get kicked off or not be put on the ballot or get kicked off the ballot if you manage to secure enough signatures. But the dudes want a lot of money. One lawyer wanted $8,900. So it takes a lot of money. And these people know that. And so when they get these individuals and these group of people that can go out there and do this, they can make some good money. And that's exactly what Zahi Jeris has done with the various food distribution locations. He's created a food distribution walking list, a petition list, right, for the Democrats that he is almost certain to be, successful. These folks, they're going to sign your petition because they know that, or they believe anyway, they perceive that if they have the perception, if they don't sign that petition, they're not going to get their food. So we're going to use their food insecurity against them. Let's toy with these people. And here we are. They're toying with this guy. He doesn't know any better. He's making a fool of himself over here, crying racism. Meanwhile, his dad is the head of the Westchester Democratic chair or Democratic committee. The chair, who's very powerful, according to him, when he talks about dad. Right? And so was it Ruth's responsibility to pay him, or was there the finance manager who had to pay? And Ruth was like, listen, that's not my job. And if he wasn't hired by Ruth's campaigns directly, and instead was hired by the Westchester Democratic Committee, which at the time, his father, I believe, was the chair, then that was his dad who hired him. Why didn't his dad make sure he got paid? Isn't his dad the chair? Right? I understand that the last person to get promoted to captain in the YPD paid $20,000 to the Spano crime syndicate and was promoted just before the list expired with no captain position open. And I've heard about jobs being sold. And in fact, I know someone that had a job offered to them. I know all about that situation. So again, there's people out there that are investigating news organizations like LOHA were investigating the use of employees for campaigning. I know the feds are investigating, and even certain candidates are like, yo, I'm staying away from certain individuals because I don't want to go down with them when the feds comes. That is right, folks. It's going to be a hell of a show.
You're talking, they're not getting paid. They're not getting paid by Ruth, right?
They're not getting paid by her campaign. Yeah.
By her campaign. You heard what he said. By her campaign. Her campaign is a separate entity.
So it's dragging on and dragging on. So, I don't sit around and wait for nothing. So I make a phone call. I'm trying to get in touch with her. I get in touch with her.
So I don't sit around and wait for nothing. So I get in touch with her, I get in touch with her. So I could sense right there, he was a little bit upset. He felt like, yo, I'm being disrespected here. She ain't gonna disrespect me. I'm gonna call and get paid.
And she's telling me her campaign finance person is sick, etc., etc. And then another time goes over, they have to, you know, it's getting close to back to school time. These kids, they need their money. So I pay the kids out of my own money. And I'd rather let them, because I brought them into it, I'd rather I be owed by the campaign instead of having some children out here owed, especially by a person who was the Democratic nominee. So, you know, so then a few months go by, I'm starting to look for my money. Like, where's my money? You know, contacting Ruth, whatever. And then she starts playing games. She starts saying, well, how do I know you actually did the work? And then that changes into, you know, and I pointed out some notable people's homes that I went by during the campaign, some judges, some elected officials that, you know, saw me in their neighborhood, knocked on the door. So then she started making accusations that I was.
So he says that, you know, he says she tried to insinuate that he didn't go get the signatures. How do I know you went out there and got the signatures? Listen to what he said. He said, what do you mean? I went and I knocked on some notable people's doors, judges and stuff, and they all witnessed that I was out there. Which judges were those? Interesting to know who were they, right? And so he has this attitude. I mean, he has this attitude. He seems a little like he would be aggressive. You can tell by his tone right here, right? He don't like to be messed with. Like, I want my money. And so I can see Ruth Walters hearing this guy's tone and being really scared. Like, oh my God. And listen, yeah, I could see her being, oh my God, this guy's a big black guy. I don't know what am I gonna do? Sure, but you're giving her exactly what they think. You're presenting that stereotype. You know, if there's your money that you're owed, you say, okay, Miss Walter, I sent you an email. I've told you in person. You know, I was supposed to be paid on this day. It is now this day. I mean, I'm just asking, can you please find, you know, a way to resolve this so I can get reimbursed? That's it. And then if she doesn't pay you, guess what? You go to court. You take her to civil court. You take her campaign or whoever, and you get paid that way. But you don't go to them. And he's saying that she invited him, but maybe she did. And maybe she did set him up like that because she was just scared and wanted the police to be there to talk to this guy and say, listen, I don't got your money. I'm not the one in charge of paying you. And can you tell this guy to back off and leave me alone? I can see her being like that, right? So, I mean, you know, we have to look at it from both sides of the coin. He said they needed a summer job, but petitions take place in March. I thought the same thing, but I'm not sure. Are there maybe petitions going on in the summertime? I wasn't 100% sure, but I thought exactly the same thing. Good catch there. When did this happen? Right. This happened like 2 years ago. He was talking about this story 2 years ago. Right. So I don't understand what he's saying. How many sergeants got promoted with no positions available? Breen's son-in-law. Yeah. And I wonder why. See, Breen's all over my issue over there with his daughter, the cop who got promoted also. Her name is on the police report of that incident where Rue Rose blatantly lied, knowing he had the police report. And someone made a comment when I did this post here, oh, well, it was the police report. Well, Rue Rose had the police report on my incident, he still lied. So I don't trust none of that. I don't trust what comes out of Rue Rose's mouth unless it's a car accident, unless it's an overdose or it's a shooting. I don't trust anything else. Right? And even the overdoses, don't trust who he says, or even if he says that it was an overdose, because he almost had a big problem with a family for saying someone overdosed when they said that's not what happened. And why is he reporting that? Why is he reporting that, going to these people's families? And I don't know, this guy has no homes. Let me touch a little girl.
During the campaign, some judges, some elected officials that, you know, saw me in
some judges, some elected officials. Which judges and elected officials did you knock on?
their neighborhood, knocked on the door. So then she started making accusations that I was working on behalf, that this was an extortion attempt and whatever, just using language over the phone as if she was trying to, you know, save some kind of verbiage. And then which then she started having me meet her places oh, meet me here, meet me there. What I didn't know was like she's a diabolical, evil genius because she was like.
So listen to the way he talks about Ruth and how he the words he uses to describe her. He gets, and he even admits himself that he was aggressive and used foul language. I mean, he didn't really help himself here, this guy.
Like making a trail. So finally one day she had me come to her headquarters, right? So I go to her headquarters, and when I walk in, the police are waiting for me. And she tells the police, yes, that's him. I said, what the hell going on here?
So let me get it. She kind of entrapped you, brought you into a location, and the police was there waiting.
So notice how Ruros uses the word entrapment. He's the one that is creating that narrative now. Oh, so she entrapped you. Entrapment. Meaning she set him up to make it appear as he was committing a crime, or set him up to commit a crime. He's saying that, yo, she wanted me to come there and so she could have the cops there. So when I come there, it looks like I'm coming there to extort her or shake her down or, threaten her physically if she doesn't pay me. First of all, you should have known better, brother. You should have known better than go over there to Bronxville. You said she's an evil, diabolical woman, did you not? But yet and still you went to Bronxville to meet this white woman who you say owes you money and has been playing you for a while now. What do you think was going to happen?
For you.
She said, oh, we have your check, you're gonna get paid. So I was like, okay. So I come to go get my money, and she got the police in there. Walk in, and the cop is like, he says, yeah, this woman, he says, she tells me that you've been extorting, harassing, and threatening her. And I said, extorting, harassing, and threatening her. And so I cussed him out, and I'm like, I'm not a criminal, so I have no fear of the police, and I'm going to exercise my freedom of speech. So I give him a piece of my mind for even approaching me in the manner in which he approached me.
So he gave the officer a piece of his mind. He says, I cursed, and he says, I exercised my freedom of speech, and I gave him a piece of my mind. How much she owed him. Now who's knocking? Him or the kids knocking? Right. And I never heard anything about the kids before. So I don't know if the kids were mentioned in the first 2 years ago when this story first broke. So I don't know. But he was aggressive and is cursing at the police. So if he's cursing at the police, you mean to tell me that this guy never got aggressive over the phone with Ruth? He was polite the entire time? So why would she have the cops there? Why would she fear him? Why would she think anything negative? You're cursing at the police that you just met. You don't got any beef with them because of the way he approached you. If you're concerned with things happening, you're like George Floyd, then the smart thing to do is not curse at the cops. And this is what I tell people, right, wrong, just listen to police, do what they say, put your hands behind your back. It doesn't matter. If they're giving you that command and they have a serious tone and they call for backup, hands behind your back, put yourself in the car. Say, don't worry, officer, I got it. I'll put myself in. Thank you. It's better to live and fight it in court. And so this guy's cursing at police in Bronxville. He's a tough guy. He's a tough guy.
Without, asking questions. And then 2 minutes later, when my father, who had dropped me off.
Who is your father?
My father's Reginald Lafayette.
Okay.
Walked through the door.
His father brought him there. Reginald Lafayette. Who was setting who up?
And the officer recognized who he was. And so my father, wanted to know what was going on there. And said, you had him meet you here. What she didn't know was that my father was on the phone and had, and knew, about the situation. He just didn't get involved because I'm a grown man. So,
but your father brought you to get money that you're owed. But you're a grown man.
For me, he was ready to go get something to eat. If anybody knows Reggie Lafayette, when it's time to eat, he don't play. He ready to go. So this is supposed to be a simple pick up a check, and then, you know, I was going to buy him something to eat. So he came in, and the cop recognized who he was, and, you know, the whole environment changed, and, you know, in his Reggie Lafayette way, he took control over the situation, and he asked the cop a very, you know, when he asked the cop what's going on, the cop explained that I had been harassing, threatening, and extorting Ruth. And my father said, in which way? My father said, now if she filed it, now why didn't y'all come pick him up and bring him in or ask him to come in for questioning? What is this ambush? This is not police work. He wanted to know who dispatched the officer. The officer said, oh no, I'm here. The Ruth piped in speaking for the officer, saying he's here as a friend. And then my father said, oh, your friend who happens to be in uniform with a gun on his hip?
And before, which police department is this?
It had to be, I guess, Bronxville, because that's where the headquarters was. It was next door to her chief.
I just want to make sure people understand everything.
And I had a feeling that what she was trying to do, because the language she was using, she was accusing, like, and I have the text messages and the phone conversation still saved that I'll get to you. Because she was just saying that that me and my father was working for Gordon. She kept bringing my father into the situation. And he wasn't in. I said, yo, you got to do my father. He's like, well, yeah, I hear as the Democratic chair, he extorts people for money. This means he might have sent you to get his campaign kickback and all this other nonsense. And so she, you know, and so when she was telling me to come to her shop to, you know, meet her to get paid, I knew what was going on because I could see it in her, but she ain't right. So what I did was I would buy.
Were they coming there to get a campaign kickback, and was that a deal that went wrong? You hear him? You hear what she said? Ruth Walter is saying this. Ruth Walter is saying, your father is extorting me. He extorts people. They get campaign kickbacks. Zahi Jeris was the former chair of the Republican Party here in Yonkers, and we know he was getting kickbacks, and he went to jail for it. So this is not a conspiracy. I've heard the stories with Mr. Reginald. I don't speak on it. He's no longer here, not relevant until his son is reminding us of him in this manner. Way to go. But I guess that's what you guys do. Extortion. I believe that. Let's extort this white woman. You better pay me my money. How much did she owe? Does anybody know? Doesn't ever mention that in his entire video. Not once. Didn't say how much, how much time he worked for, how many weeks, how many days, how many hours, how many petitions, signatures he got, or exactly what he did or was doing. He did say he knocked on a couple of, prominent people's doors, elected officials and judges, so they know he was knocking in their neighborhood. But what did he do exactly? This is the problem with politics here in Yonkers and in Westchester County. It is so damn corrupt. And the reason it's gotten like that is because the individuals that are in politics now have been in politics for too damn long. This is why you cannot extend term limits. This is why term limits are important. And there should be term limits with everything in politics, from the chair of the party committee to the elected officials. There should be term limits. These folks get in there, they don't want to leave, they build up this network of corruption, and then forget it. Forget it. And then we have to deal with this nonsense. And then Ruros, again, putting this out because he is working on behalf of James Nolan's campaign, which, James, I like you, dude, but this ain't right. This is not how I want to see elections go down here in our city. This guy right here is a bad person. And I'm talking about Ruros. Bad person. He's threatening to release some video about me. And what I'm trying to get to him and the Yonkers Police Department is that I don't know how far that guy's willing to take it, but I know how far I'm willing to take it. And so if you think that you're going to ever do something to me to destroy my family or bring me down, then you better be ready, because the day that ever happens, it's the day that you're going to see an animal that doesn't care about anything. And so you will never be able to be in peace. Is that what you want? You see how relentless I am. 2 years strong, baby, and only going. You guys don't put fear in my heart, especially you. You are a convicted pedophile. And now you're trying to ruin this woman, ruin her reputation, steal an election. You're corrupting elections, manipulating them, influencing them negatively, all to make a few dollars so you can live on Ashburn and buy a six-pack. You know, and I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this trash in our city government. I'm tired of this trash influencing our community. I'm tired of it. He should not be filming anybody. He shouldn't be filming people going through some of their most traumatic moments, blasting their faces. He shouldn't be doing what he did to my family, that's for sure. And the only reason why that man, and I'll be quite honest, and I'm not trying to be an aggressive or angry or mean or violent person, absolutely not, because I have zero history of it. Zero history. But the only reason that man is still going around Yonkers, still filming, is because the police will come right to my door. And so we, the people, have to root out all of the corruption. And that means stuff like this, we must call it out. Call it out. We want fair and honest elections with integrity. Enough of this stuff. And, you know, we talk about racism. You want to talk about racism? Well, I've heard a lot in terms of the Nolan family as being racist. And I've never mentioned it because my interaction with James has never been that. So I can't say that he's a racist either. Although people have said it. Many people. People on the East Side. And no, not the people that you're going to automatically assume because they like my podcast all the time. No. People that don't even like the podcast or you haven't seen watching. So stop the hypocrisy, stop the nonsense, stop taking advantage of, you know, this poor woman. Stop using the plight of Black people in order to win your campaign. Stop utilizing a man convicted of sex crimes against children to run and win your campaign. All of you, shame on you. And that is why we need them out. They're corrupt to the core. They have no morals, no moral compass, no integrity, no professionalism, none whatsoever. Enough is enough. This guy, Ruros, they pay him $1,000 for every 3 months to keep their name and their face on his page, and then they pay him $2,000 every 3 months or something like that during election season, plus like $900 for an interview, and then pay him double to keep your opponent off his page. And he offered me to come on his page recently. I'm not going on your page. I'm not going to go anywhere next to you. I simply told him that, listen, you can have peace or you can have a serious problem. I don't care how tough you think you are, Ruros. You're a very arrogant person for zero reasons. I don't care. But you can have peace or not. That's all I was saying to you. And I was asking, let's have peace, because I know that me being in this election, they are going to come for me. And who are they going to use? This guy and Brian. So I was trying to get ahead of it. I didn't want to come on your show, so I didn't need the invite. Because this is what they do during elections. And that is why he makes the money, and they pay him. He makes his money. So this has got to stop. Enough of this. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of this guy. I'm tired of the crap that he puts out. I'm tired of that guy, Brian, attacking women, attacking people online bullying. The Yonkers police know about it. They do nothing. Are they waiting to see if Freddy Vazquez is going to go kick down Brian Harrod's door and do something to him? Because I'm not. So you're never going to get that opportunity. I'm not going to go to jail. No way. But I am going to continue to put it out there and tell people about how disgusting these individuals are and what they do to other people, how they rape people online, abuse people, torment, terrorize, create lies, and our elected officials are using them. This is coming from the Nolan campaign. It is not cool because real racism exists. And now here, you're crying wolf. Crying wolf. My wife is black. My kids are black. And we don't like this. We don't like this. Don't utilize our struggles and plights for your political advantage. Please, have some respect. Tell them to take that down. You know that's nonsense. Donna Nolan, you should know. Right? You contact individuals, the family of CJ Hackett. I'm not sure why. Why is it that they can't seek justice for the death of their son the same way you sought justice for the death of your son? There was no way you were going to rest until those boys were behind bars. Those little dark-skinned boys. So what about CJ Hackett? What about his family, his parents? They shouldn't get justice, Donna? Who had you call them? Try to smooth it over. No, it's no smoothing over. People were responsible for allowing that man to go. You hear Ruro's posting that? No. He's not mentioning anything about it on Yonkers Voice. It's not being mentioned on Newswire or Yonkers Tribune. Not one bit of it. Nope. How about that, Ruros? A 16-year-old died, got killed. You don't care? You're going to put this guy up on here to talk this nonsense? That's the problem, folks. That is why I talk about this guy. You want a clean house? We got to get rid of this guy too. And I'm not going to stop. Enough is enough. It's not cool. Donna Nolan, you as a mother should have more compassion with this woman who lost her son because a guy decided to drive drunk and he knew what he did. He stopped not once, but twice to look back and kept going. And then they allowed him to go free for 3 days, knowing they knew who he was right away. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. His plates were clear as day in that footage. He even had lights on his plate. You don't think that they deserve justice? You wanted those boys who murdered your son to rot in hell. Shouldn't the parents of CJ Hackett, want the same or be allowed to feel the same way? The things that people do in order to gain for themselves. I know what that's like. I know what it's like to want something, not have much, and you want it, you have an opportunity there and you see it, but at what expense? At what sacrifice do you make as a human? And to the city council president, I like you. I do. And I understand what's up. I get it. We want to prosper. We come from nothing. And they present this in front of us. They toy with us, man. They know what we want. We're a joke to them, though. We're peasants. Trust me, I've heard the conversations. This is what rich people think of a lot of us. We're peasants. I've been in those conversations. The peasant. And they put this, nice, shiny, diamond or whatever in front of us. But at what sacrifice do we make? Do we sacrifice our integrity? Do we sacrifice who we are, our morals, our self-respect for material things, for money, for a job that pays $150,000 and a pension? Sure, we have bills. I get it. But we have to start making better decisions as humans, man, as a society. We have to start making better decisions. And so to our elected officials, and Donna Nolan, the poor family, they lost their 16-year-old son. He's never coming back. Steven is walking around hugging his kids. You and her should be together, yelling from the highest hill in the city, screaming for justice for CJ, because you were there once. This is not how we do it, Donna. This is not how we do politics. This is not how we run our city. You're a very strong person. You have a lot of power. But that doesn't make you an amazing person. What makes you an amazing person is, how do you wield that power? And so that's what I want you guys to think about. When we wake up tomorrow, what decisions are we going to make? This is wrong. This video is wrong. Do you just tear down a woman like that? That video that Ruro still has up of when my family was attacked on his page, right there on YouTube, front and center. Is that how you do business, Ruro? You lie and tear down a family and their business? How about you, Tasha? You sell out your people for a title, for a few extra dollars. I get it. You live in affordable housing. Life's never been so good. But you sold your souls. And if you continue to do that, you get it back. And so I say that because I'm tired of this dirty politics. I'm tired of the disgusting posts on these internets. I get them sent to me. I see them. Some people may believe them. I don't know. But this is what they do. And this is a man who has a conviction for child sex crime. And so if you support him, you support sex abuse, sex crimes against children. Bottom line, send him a star. That's what you're supporting. A man that's trying to intimidate me, trying to blackmail me with some video. Ruros, I could care less what you think you got. I asked him, are you a killer, Ruros? He didn't respond. I said, are you? Because if you're not, I have nothing to fear from you. Nothing. I'm here to make the city better. And we do that by getting rid of this trash, all of it, cleaning it up. Stop the lies. Stop the corruption. Stop the nepotism. Stop covering up crimes. Stop protecting pedophiles. Stop representing developers and represent the people. Run fair and honest campaigns. For once, be people with high morals, integrity. Stop selling out your own people. Lakeisha, you know what makes it even worse now, Lakeisha, is that you have the opportunity to really do some big things. So if you choose now not to take that option or that, opportunity, I should say, you will really have failed your people, because you knew there was a crossroad that you came to. And at this point, there's no more naiveness. There's no more learning curve. There's no more I didn't know. There's no more they manipulated me. Now you know. Will you go left or will you go right? I'm Freddy Vazquez, Basement Politics Unfiltered. Donna, very racist. Ask the people at the deli on Sawmill River Road. Don't even try to hide it. So sad. Yeah. Yeah, Donna has a voice. She should stand next to that mom. That's a damn shame. Absolutely. There's strength in numbers. And so to work on behalf of those trying to cover up what actually happened in that boy's death, it's not okay. It's just not okay, Donna. You know, I hope his friend is okay. Yeah, his friend is traumatized. He's got a lot of trauma. He's got survivor's guilt. These are young boys. This is a grown man that made a decision, and the bar that continued to serve alcohol to a man that I'm sure showed up inebriated already. Where's their responsibility? Where's their negligence? The bar is owned by a relative of the mayor. We're not going to hide this anymore. We're not going to stop, Mayor. People are just getting started. They want justice. The best thing to do is get justice for the family. Unless, Mayor, you helped hide it, did you? If you didn't, then get justice for them. We're not going to stop. It's time to change the way things happen here. And I know guys got a lot of money invested and tied up. And they're like, Freddy, there's a lot of money. These guys are, Somebody's got to stand up. Somebody's got to not be afraid and call it out. And I may not see the promised land, like Martin Luther King said. I may not see the day where all the corruption is gone. But at least I spoke out. At least I encourage people to speak out and be confident. And I exposed as much as I could. I'm not saying I'm done. I'm just saying I need everyone to be a part of this movement. We are the people. You want change? You're tired of this? Then you have to help in some way. Provide information. You can do it anonymously. I will not out you. And that's what Zahi Jarris wants me to, and I'm not. There's lawyers, that's what, and look what Ruros, I'll show you the text. He's making fun of this. Like he thinks that, it's funny that there are people out there that are so fed up that they're, reaching out to me anonymously because they're scared. And now Zahi wants to know who these people are. And Freddy Vazquez will take it to its grave. I will not fold. That's not in my DNA. It's not in my DNA. You should know that by now. So he's not going to get that. He can kiss my you-know-what, Zahi. I don't care how tough you think you are and what kind of organization, crime, mob organization you got with your cigars. Don't fear me. I ain't even supposed to be here now, but I am. So God's got me. And I suggest you guys turn to God because the wicked evilness has gotten to many of you. So I don't have any fear. Ruros, you could threaten me with whatever video you got. I don't care. You are not powerful enough to take me down. You can kill me physically, but you will never kill me spiritually. And that's all that matters. So say what you will. But I'm not going to stop. I'm here for change. I'm Freddy Vazquez. I appreciate everybody. Thank you for supporting and watching the show. But this takes everybody. Give me the information. politicwithfred@gmail.com. They are scared of the information. They are scared of it coming out. You want to get them back? Give me the information. It's time for revenge. It's time for justice. It's time to speak out. I'll be out there at the St. Patrick's Day parade. Make sure we all come out. Let's let the mayor know. We want justice. We want justice for CJ. And I'm hearing that the kid that was driving the car, family's Yemenis, the father, I believe, owned the car. And they're politically tied to Nader Sayegh. They're not family members, but politically tied to him. And he may be helping. This is what sources are alleging. And from a police officer's mouth, and I won't say any more than this, they're definitely covering up the CJ Hackett death. It's definitely a cover-up. Where is the Justice Department? Can you imagine? No, you can't. You can't imagine what it's like to be his mom or his dad and have the killer walking free and people covering it up. That's got to be some anger that they must have inside. And they can't do anything about it. And they want you to stay quiet. They threaten you, stay quiet. Oh, that's going to mess up the case. That's going to anger them. You stay quiet, they're going to cover it up. You'll never see the justice that you deserve. And then they go on with their lives while you lay there in misery because the loved one is no longer here. Hell no. Hell to the no. Justice for CJ. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. We're getting justice here. I suggest you do it on your own, Mayor, because we're not going to stop. We're going to come out here for justice. Sorry. It is what it is. It is what it is. Convicted pedophiles representing developers, online blogs. Absolutely. You're talking about James Sertival. Sodomized a 14-year-old boy after he prayed online. He was, going through the AOL chats looking for little boys. This guy's still around. He's helping Ginsburg, the developers over there, where they're building the Leonard Spano Park. Yeah, he's in City Hall. Watch your kids if you see James Sertival around. Oh, my God. Convicted felon running ESP, Nick Spano. Former Senator Nick Spano, who did go to jail. Convicted felon. Convicted felon running political campaigns. That's Zahi Jeris. Too many felons doing business for the city. Where are the feds? Yes. Where is Mimi Roca? Cállate la boca. Where's Mimi Roca? The Westchester County DA is currently running for re-election. She ran on stopping political corruption, but Mimi has done zero. 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 What has she done? Why does she deserve to be re-elected? Why? There's so much going on here, Mimi. What about the death of CJ Hackett that's being covered up? Mimi Roca, Westchester County DA. Hello? Anyone there in the office working? Hello? But how are you tied to AMS, Mimi? How are you tied to AMS? How are you tied to AMS, Mimi? Tell the people. Tell the people. You're not going to get an investigation here in the city of Yonkers because Mimi Roca, she's tied to the corruption. She has to be. She's not doing anything. She has a little relationship with AMS and other things. It's up to us. It is up to the people. Continue to email, write letters to the federal government, Department of Justice specifically. Continue to write emails and write letters. The more emails and letters they get, the more pressure they will have to do something. People are speaking more and more, so they have to come and see what's going on. Make sure you document everything. Everything you see, take a picture, do audio. It's up to the people. We must take our city back. Otherwise, we are going to lose it. And it's going to be a city that we don't recognize. And eventually we will seek to move out. We're going to go. Their master plan is to replace us. It is. It's just a fact. They want new people. That's it. That's the true master plan, especially in the Southwest side. We're getting rid of those people. They don't make money. They're poor. They're useless. They're worthless. We don't want them. That's what they're saying. That's what I mean when they look at people and call them little black puppets or little Hispanic puppet, the little Puerto Rican puppet, the little Puerto Rican Mike Cater puppet, right? I don't care about words. I care about the actions. And you see what they're doing. It's time for change. I'm Freddy Vazquez. This is Basement Politics. I'm up out of here. Nothing personal against Miss Nolan because I don't even know her, but how low is it for the brass to task her with establishing a rapport with Miss Hackett based on their common grief and feeding her their propaganda? Absolutely. That's what I mean. Where's the morals? Where's the ethics? I mean, what is wrong with some of you folks? The things that you do, you just have no, moral compass, no integrity, no soul, just pure evil, no empathy. Some of you, I'm sure, are probably sociopaths. I mean, come on. How can you guys just sit there and not help this woman? How? And the mayor protecting, covering up the 16-year-old's family and a cop was killed. Cops, hello. That goes to show that even the brass don't care about your ass. They only care about the money, their pension and retirement. That's it. All that phony stuff they sell you, my brother, my sister in blue or whatever. Oh, we love the cops. We love our first responders, right? All that stuff is all for show. It's all for show. It's every man for themselves. It's a dog-eat-dog world. That's just the truth. And I'm sorry to tell you. How can Commissioner Sapienza allow this to happen? Just another hack for the mayor. What has Sapienza said about it? Nothing. What has John Rubel? You know what's interesting? John Rubel from the 4th District, when the incident happened at Duos, when a busboy was shot and killed, they caught the guy literally in hours. John Rubel had a press conference that night, the next day, and got it shut down. He said, I'm calling on the mayor to shut this place down because it's causing trouble. And it was shut down. They caught the guy who lived in the Bronx in a matter of hours, but they couldn't catch Stephen Dolan, who lives right here in Yonkers, for 3 days. Do you really believe that they didn't know who it was? Do you really believe that? And now this guy may only get 2.5 years. That's right, the DA, only 2.5 years, right, DA? You're a great DA. Let me tell you, Assistant DA, right? You're a piece of work too, I hear. Your job is to get justice. But they're corrupt too. Many of them have been appointed by elected officials. And so they have a favor to give back, to return. Many of the judges, that's why it's, a bad thing that we see these judges like Verishako, Ada Medina, right? Remember when Thomas Quinones was all up with them? Remember all these judges? Or Elena Goldberg, Velasquez, whatever her name is, the one that's not Spanish, but she not even Carmen's daughter, but they all hugged up. The one that's always about taking pictures, right? You got to take the picture right. Take it over. You're going to get attitude from her. Excuse me. I didn't like that. I don't know who made me your photographer, Elena. Should have paid me. But she don't care because they just want a title. Look at me. I'm a judge. I'm making $200,000 a year. I don't care about you coming before me. You get out of here, you peasant. What do we do with this guy? Oh, you want me to send him to jail forever? Okay, go to jail forever. I don't care. Oh, you want me to let this guy go? You're free to go. I don't care. I'm just sitting here looking cute, making $200,000 a year. That's the problem when we have career politicians. They create this system, right? They got it all on lock. They appoint judges. They're the ones that run candidates. They control the different city council positions. I mean, we have nothing, no say. That's what they want. They appoint all the people on the different boards. They appoint the commissioners. The mayor appoints the commissioners. The mayor appoints the board of trustees for the schools. And what do we get? Nothing, because these are all unqualified friends and family network who cannot survive out in the private sector, most of them. And so they need to be appointed to a job in order to get a job. How much money are we raking in from all the movies being shot here? Huh, Melissa? Melissa, can you tell me that? Is that your job, Melissa? Melissa Goldberg? Is that your last name? I don't even know. Carmen's daughter-in-law. She's the director or whatever, something. They gave her a job with this title, movie liaison or whatever. So how much money we're getting from the movies that we make, that they shoot here? How much? Because we never hear about that, right? It's like a hush-hush thing. How much money has the city generated in the past 5 years from movies being filmed here and shows being filmed here? Is that not helping? They ain't gonna tell us that. Ask them where the money's at. Hey, Moranti, where the money's at? Where the money, Moranti? You know, ain't you a superstar accountant? They plan Yonkers to become Manhattan North for over 30 years. Yeah, but the Spanos, not the Spanos, they just took over the plan. They hijacked. They stole the plan from what's his name? Phil Lemacone. He was an actual engineer. See, he could make it out in the private sector. That's why he said, I'm out of here. Screw politics. I don't need it. Right? He didn't need that. But these other individuals have nothing else, nowhere else to turn to. Corazon, 34 years old. She wants to be the mayor of this city. And by the way, you know, stop being racist over at these affordable housing apartments, man, because I hear that they're prioritizing Dominicans. That's what black people are telling me. We have to get along, guys. Stop it, all right? Stop at the black and Hispanic thing, okay? See how they're pitting us against each other, right? Because I've heard this argument from some of the Spanish elite that the blacks get everything. Well, the blacks, you know, they really out vocal. When you speak, you get, right? You got, you know, a closed mouth don't get fed. That's what my mama said. So we have to come out, Latinos, Hispanics, right? And we not against the blacks, and we not against anybody. All right. So I don't want to hear that stuff. That's that division stuff from the top. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear none of that. We are together. That's right. Thank you, folks. I'm Freddy Vazquez. I'm up out of here. Thank you so much. Sertivo has been on board the whole way. Then mayor after rep mayor, downtown waterfront development. Yeah, James Sertivo since the 80s, right? He's been involved. He's the guy. That guy ran for mayor when he was like in his 20s or something like that. He was still in college. He was named as the campaign manager at 17 years old. That's a way of laundering money. That's like this guy was named Yonkers Foodie, was Mike Spano's campaign strategist. Come on, man. Like, we all should be insulted for how stupid they think we are. We should all be insulted. That should be the main reason why we're upset, because they think we're super stupid. I'm not stupid. I don't know about you folks. I'm definitely not stupid. I'm Freddy Vazquez, and I'm up out of here for real. Folks, by the way, I want to shout out to my homegirl, Laura Wilson Kimbo, Wilson, Kimbo, Wilson, Laura Wilson, Wilson Kimbo, by the way, it's my homegirl, right? No, I'm not crazy. I'm actually very strategic and very methodical, and I do things purposely. And by the way, Brian, I got you, didn't I? Look at you making that stupid, silly pose. Oh, look at Freddy. You need to know what he's doing. Those ballads were petitions were no good, homie. Yeah, homie the clown. But anyway, Laura, I know that Brian Harrod is your guy. So let me tell people how it works, all right? Laura Wilson Kimball, remember the guy? He was campaigning manager at 17, mayoral candidate at 20, yeah, right? Laura Wilson Kimball, she is I spoke about her last night. She is the head of Municipal Housing Authority, Macy, right? Housing. She's also the chair of the Zoning Board of Appeals. She's the one, involved with all the zoning changes, FBI. She's the one that's involved. She was already investigated by the New York State Inspector General in 2010, along with her husband, James Kavanaugh. He wasn't her husband then. They was having a little fling. That's right. They were spending taxpayer money on a Love's Nest, an apartment that they were leasing for $50,000 a year. And so her, her little political gun is Brian Harrick, right? Because he lives in a housing. So she hooks him up. This guy got 2 apartments in housing. One of them that he uses for, I mean, they're almost right next to each other, just about. One of them that he uses for his like his little makeshift office. He has filing cabinets all over the. And I know because I went to his apartment. I don't play no games. I went right to his apartment that day. He talked about my daughter. These guys are having my kids. I mean, like, listen, talk about me all day long, but my kids, like, you're gonna, but they know what they're doing. He knew I would do that. So I can't really react. So I'll just let them talk now. But I went there, filing cabinets. He's using this apartment as an office, right? For his Yonkers news thing where he harasses everybody, torments people, right? And then he has another apartment where he lives, I guess, with his wife, the small little woman there. I don't understand what she doing with this guy. Like, I don't know. But he gets away with it because he got the connection with Macy, Laura Wilson Kimbo. That's her hired gun. And I've noticed it becomes a pattern. And I do this sometimes. I test my hypothesis, right? It's a crazy guy. He is. Hey, Corazon, what does hypothesis mean? Quick. Who's crazy? What does hypothesis mean? What does skewed mean? Anyway, so inside joke. So every time I do a certain podcast, I talk about Wilson. Guess who attacks me? Brian Harrick. So I knew it. So I said, boom, Brian, of course, would post again. Yesterday I talked about Laura Wilson Kimball. Laura, I got you almost down to a science, baby girl. And I love this. I love analyzing people, getting them down to a science. It's almost like it's a fun thing to me, right? And so I know what you did. I know that move you made. I'm not going to say a lot of see, folks, I'm sorry, but this is between me and those that they watch. They know they watch. I know you're watching right now. I know you're watching. You hate me, don't you? You hate me. How about your husband? He hate me? You hate me? James, you hate me? You hate me? Why? Because it's true? Yeah. Laura, I know what you did. I know that move you made, right? You did something for someone in hopes that someone would do something for you, right? Don't do that. Laura, and all you city folks watching, because they watch, let me just tell you this, all right? I'm going to stay this nice guy now because, I'm trying to do the mayor thing, I really want to change the city. I really want to bring a lot of positive. I do. I really do, right? And I'm a good person. I've always been that good person. That's why God has blessed me. I do want to help others. I've helped others, as much as they can help themselves, right? And that's who I am. But I can dish it out just as hard, if not harder. And I prefer not to. So just be easy on what you think you're going to do to me. Okay? I don't play those games. I definitely don't. I'm not, I'm just different. Just let's leave it at that. I know a lot more people, a lot more things. Like, this is like a serious message right here. I don't play with my safety. I don't care what I say about you. I'm only speaking truth. That report is there. The New York Post called it a love's nest, not me. They said you were having a fling, not me. And so you did that to yourself, not me. You guys are the bad ones, not me, not the people of the city. And so just be careful what you try and do. And the more Brian comes for me, the more I'll come for you. I'll stop when Ruros takes that video down. Until then, Laura Wilson Kimball, you're going to be one of my primary topics of discussion. Because after all, it is you that are changing all these zoning laws. The reason why we're getting such taller and taller buildings and why the city's becoming overcrowded. I mean, it was you, after all. that disrespectfully remove people from the zoning board. After 30 years, they gave up their life for free. But here you come, not giving two shits. And from your past, you're not a very nice woman. So I have no sympathy or empathy. You want to play ball? Let's play ball. James, you ready? I know I am. Freddy Vazquez, this Basement Politics. I'm up out of here, folks. Tiger Woods of politics without the prostitutes and sleeping pills. I'm going to say that for my old age, when my wife is tired. She runs this year or next year. Who's that, Wilson? She runs this year or next year. Who, Mimi? I know she's running soon. I think that, I thought it was this year. Does she have an opponent? I'm not sure. She's trying to keep it very low. She's trying to keep the fact that she's running very low because she know that she didn't do shit. She didn't keep up with her campaign promise of, busting up political corruption. Mimi Roca was actually, hooked up with AMS. They gave her a free office space in 86 Main Street, right? So she's tied into them. She's hooked up with all this. They helped her out a lot. So here's the issue, right? She's gonna hook them up. The governor's gonna hook up the mayor because he helped, right? When they need votes from Yonkers, they go to the mayor. You know what I'm saying? And they go to Zahi Jarris. So they hooked up. They're not gonna go, you know what I mean? She's not gonna bust them up. You know, she's not gonna bust them up. Wilson Park is actually off Kimball Avenue. Wilson Kimball. Did I call it Wilson Park? Wilson Kimball. Oh, Wilson Park is on Kimball Avenue. Yeah. She was, I don't know who she is. She's somebody. Freddie, you the Tiger Woods of politics. I'm just trying to make things fair for the people because I don't like bullies. They are the bullies. They got the money, they got the power, and they don't care what you go through. When they don't care what happens to you. They'll flex that in a second. You're nothing. You're nothing to them. At the end of the day, Wilson Kimball don't care about none of you. Okay, she don't care about any of you. She doesn't. I'm not sure why this rich woman, white woman, I'm just saying, is running housing. But I know why. I know why. I know why. I absolutely do know why. You guys are bad people, man.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddy Vazquez.
In another one, Mr. Rubo lied to me. And I don't vote for a person that lied to me. Thank you very much.
I want to end this quick because I'm greedy and I want some of the butter chicken. So thank you.
But I am the bad guy. Not long ago,
but I'm a councilwoman, so the capacity that I know you in, they may know you in a different capacity. I know you have a lot of women that work in your office. I know you have a lot of women that work in your office.
Listen to her burp.
I know you have a lot of women that work in your office. I'm hoping that this is not true, Sammy.
Thank you for watching Basement Politics with my husband, Freddy Vazquez.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
No! We got a deal, Wilson? You want to meet with me? Meet with me. Let's talk. James Cavey, I know what you guys are up to. I mean, it's some serious stuff. Not stuff for the podcast, but it's some serious stuff. Man, you guys are bad. Malo. Sorry, but John Rubo did that so he can get more business at his dive bar, beer bar, which now has live entertainment, which requires a license. Wow. Of course, he is dying to see that Teutonia built so he can get all that business to his bar. All those residentials are going to be business for John Rubo's bar. So these people are working for themselves. John Rubo is the chair of the real estate committee. And guess who appointed him there? Corazon Pineda Isaac. And Corazon, if you really feel that the issue with this city is the nepotism, rather than have your husband try to sneak that to me through message, why don't you speak about it? You are a councilwoman, so I'm gonna stop being sneaky. Keep it real, partner. Feed to the need. Right? If you think that's an issue, talk about it, Corazon. Why aren't you talking about the nepotism publicly? You talk about it privately. That makes no sense. That makes no sense.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Indivisible, you got played.
Freddy wins. Fatality.
Chucky Lesnick, you got played.
Freddy wins.